Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today, got another little project for the Bronco. I reached out to Lensun, who is a solar panel manufacturer, and they actually have a kit for the hood of the Bronco. Reached out to them, and they actually sent me at a discounted price one of their hood solar panels. So I'm going to walk through installation today. Probably be a 2-day process. Today, I'm going to install the solar power to the hood, let that sit for 24 hours so that it sticks properly. And then tomorrow, work on the wiring. So why? Like why, I'm not an overlander. You might think that the solar panel is only useful if you're using your Bronco for overlanding. But there's a couple of reasons. One, if you let your Bronco sit for like a week or two, you'll notice it'll say going into low power mode. Reason for that is your Bronco is always connected to the internet, pinging out to Ford for any kind of updates, as well as your ability to lock and unlock remotely. So it has constant connection, and that constant connection does do a drain on the battery. And these are very sensitive batteries. They're heavy duty batteries because of all the accessories and this constant connection. But also, if you happen to drain your battery, there's less likelihood of it recovering. So by utilizing a solar panel, it will always keep the battery topped off, even when you're not utilizing. Second is when I do go off-roading, occasionally I do bring a refrigerator with me with a EcoFlow power pack, and want to tap into the solar also to keep the power pack charged up. And that way it's also not taxing on the battery, and it's pulling that power from solar to keep the battery pack charged up and the refrigerator cold. So that's the kind of my reasoning. Everyone has their own reasoning as to why they do what they do, but that's why I decided to mount a solar panel to my Bronco. So with that, we'll walk over next and do the unboxing, and then we'll walk through prep of the solar panel for installation onto the Bronco, and then let it sit again for 24 hours to let all the adhesive set, and then tomorrow work on the wiring. So with that, let's go head over to the unboxing. All right, so this is the packaging that I've received from Lensun. I had requested the solar panel as well as the MPPT controller. I did not ask for the vinyl. So they do have an option to purchase a piece of vinyl that goes between the solar panel and your paint. But since I already have PPF applied to the hood of my car, I did not need that vinyl. So I only ordered the solar panel and the controller. So let's see what we got here. We got a box on top of a box. So let me cut off this smaller box first. And I'm assuming this smaller box has the controller and probably the double-sided tape, but we shall see. Wow, they really taped this shut good. All right. So you see within the smaller box here, you do have the Lensun MPPT controller, and this has all the wiring that you're going to need to connect the solar panel to your car, as well as to the battery. I'm probably going to mount this on top of the fuse box, apply some double-sided tape to it, and apply it to the top of the fuse box. Also some manuals, installation manual, I assume, and controller manual. And then again, they give you two rolls of double-sided tape, so that should be plenty of tape to keep that panel mounted to the hood. All right, let's put all this back in here, and let's proceed with the next box, which I'm assuming is the panel itself. So initial impressions, this is packed really well. It's got cardboard within cardboard and foam along the edges to prevent any type of damage to your panel. You do have to be careful because you don't want to cut into the panel or the cabling that it comes with. So I'm just going to go around. It's like sandwiched together nicely. We do have like a little packet here with some zip ties. And it looks like a little cable management to apply to your hood to run the cable. Well, the panel is actually taped to the cardboard, so this is not going anywhere. I think that is all I need for the knife to remove. You have a installation manual going through different steps on how to attach the pretty good instructions. And then you have the panel itself, 65 watts. So they do not pre-apply the adhesive on the backing, so we'll have to do that, and then we'll mount it to the truck. All right, let's start prepping this for all the adhesive tape. All right, so first up, I have a solution here of isopropyl alcohol and some distilled water. So I'm just going to spray the back of it lightly and then wipe it all down just to prep it so I have good adhesion with the 3M tape. I think for most of these installations, the time you spend in prepping is probably more important than the installation if you want this installation to last. So I want to make sure that this does not come flying off on the highway. So I am going to take my time, prep the area, and make sure I have adequate adhesive 3M tape applied. But yeah, this is looking pretty good here. So I got the first roll here of the tape that they supplied. And the key is going to make sure you do the edges really well and then fill in the rest. So you don't need to see me applying tape to the back of this thing. So I'm going to apply the tape and then bring you guys back in as I'm ready to test fit it onto the hood of the Bronco. All right, so I did apply all the adhesive to the back of the solar panel, and I kind of have it laid out on the hood of the Bronco with some masking tape to kind of outline the edges of where the solar panel is going to go. I did purchase separately some 3M adhesive promoter. So now that I have this outline, I'm going to apply the promoter around the edge of the hood bulge where the solar panel is going to stick. And then I will peel off the adhesive and permanently apply it to the hood. So now I have it kind of mocked up, I'm going to move the solar panel and apply the 3M adhesive promoter, and then start removing all the backing of the double-sided 3M tape, and we'll see how it looks. So let's move this out of the way. Start applying the 3M adhesive promoter. I'm just going to do this around the edges. I'm not going to do the whole hood line. All right, so that one's pretty much used up. Got one more. Especially pay attention towards the front and the back edge, since that is the longest edge. All right, that ought to do it. And I'm going to start removing the back, all the tape on the back. All right, so I think that should be good. I didn't take off all the outer edge tape because I want to do that as a final. When I finally pull it, it should then set. So now comes the tricky part. Let's get this staged. That's not right. Let's go a little bit further this way. I think I gotta go a little bit to the left. And now it's too much to the left. Actually, let's put a piece of tape at the mid mark, and that will help. Something I should probably thought of earlier. So measure between the two windshield washer nozzles. Get your half point, midpoint. pretty much your midpoint. All right, let's try this one last time. All right. I think that looks about right, but let's walk around before we set everything in place. Yep, that looks good. So now let's remove the remaining tape. Use my masking tape. There you go. So now I just apply pressure. All the contact points around the edges, the corners. So I just want to make sure to apply even pressure along the edges to make sure that adheres, and then across the center to make sure the center strips adhere. And then what I'm going to do is put a bag of pellets on top of it to let it set for 24 hours to allow the adhesive to fully set. All right. So now let's apply the pellets, and then I'll see everyone tomorrow. Thank you. So welcome back to day 2. So it was sat overnight. I had a couple bags of pellets on top of the solar panel to weigh it down. Looks to be all set properly. So let's take a closer look. I think that turned out pretty good. Looks like it's pretty centered. And again, it's been set overnight. And now open up the hood and run the wire into the hood and set up the controller under the hood. So as you can see, I have the hood open. I'm just trying to plan out where I'm going to run this wire into under the hood. I think the best thing is to work this right here. There's a notch here already in the hood, and then I'm going to run it up along the hood line here, and then have it drop into the engine compartment by the hinge area. They do provide these little stickers here that you can stick onto your hood, and then there's slots here to run a zip tie through to zip tie the cable. So I'm just going to set those up and then zip tie everything secure. And then once the cable is run, install the the controller module. So make sure your hood is good and clean before putting these stickers on so that they'll adhere properly. So I'm going to want one there. And they give you a good amount of these. All right, before I get too much further, I just want to do a test fit of lowering the hood and make sure there is no interference. Let's get this wire inside. I don't think there should be, but before I get further along, it doesn't hurt to check. Let's take a closer look. So that looks like it's got good clearance there. It's not pinching the wire. So that looks good. So open the trunk and finish running the wire. All right, now that the solar panel cables are run to pretty much where I want them, I'm going to clean up this fuse box top lid and then mount the controller right on to the lid. Don't want to mount it in a way that doesn't obstruct having to, if I ever need to open the panel up to replace a fuse. But should be pretty easy. So I'm going to go clean up, get the cleaning solution to clean this up, and then I'll bring you back after this is all mounted and ready to go. All right, I applied the 3M tape to the bottom of the controller unit. I cleaned off the top of the fuse panel, so I'm going to have it stuck right there. And then I'm going to run the wires behind the fuse panel here to the negative and positive terminals on the battery. I'm going to have it on the last positive terminal here, which is a 10 millimeter, and then also on the negative here, which is also a 10 millimeter, and have it mounted there. And then you can see the connections here for the solar panel, which are currently here. So I'll connect those and then have them bundled up and zip tied off. And then eventually, which may be a separate video, they give you 2 accessory wires here that are unused. And what I plan to do is actually run a wire, a solar wire through the, since I have a manual transmission, through the grommet of the clutch master cylinder grommet, and then run it along the side there to the back, and attach and mount a SAE solar connector into the cargo area of the Bronco. And that will be used to charge my power supply and refrigerator and such. But that will be at a different date and time. Right now, I want to try to get this one wrapped up. So with that, let's peel off this 3M tape. This tape is always tricky to get the little red. There we go. Let's get this mounted. And again, I'll add some weight to that. I'll add some weight to this to let it sit for 24 hours, just to let that set. And now, let me get you over here. We'll work on connecting. Not much of a good spot here to put this camera in the engine compartment, but there we go. So I'm gonna remove this 10mm here. And this already has a fuse built into it. Just double check and make sure it actually came with one. So yep, so it does have a blue fuse in there. I think that's a 20 amp. Hard to see, that's some light there. 15 amp fuse. Put that back on. There we go. And now for the negative terminal. And there you go. So got a lot of extra wire here. I'm gonna bundle up and zip tie out of the way. At this point, I see that there's power. Move you guys around here. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah. So as you can see in the controller, it's got the two lights. So that means there's power to it. And then I just need to connect the solar power cables to it. And it should be good to go. I'll finish that up and then bring you guys back for some closing comments and initial impressions. So that's another successful install on the Ford Bronco. Have the controller unit all connected and all the wires connected and zip tied. The only thing I did not complete yet, because I'm still waiting on some additional wiring, is to wire the connector in the back cargo area. But other than that, everything went in pretty easily. Definitely recommend the Lensun kit for your Bronco. And let's take a closer look at the installation now that it's all tidied up. And if you're interested, I do have a referral code down below in the description that will get you a discount on your order for a Lensun solar kit. So let's take a look. So I hope you like the videos I'm putting out here and finding it useful for your own decisions on installations of your Bronco accessories. If you do like this video, please like and subscribe below. Unfortunately, I can't really talk about and discuss the solar output for this solar panel because, of course, this weekend is cloudy and rainy all weekend. So I'm unable to get it outside and have it show what kind of output it's gathering from a solar standpoint, because it does have a Bluetooth app that you can connect to the controller, and it will give you live readouts as to your battery health, what percent your battery's at, as well as the solar that it's collecting. All right, I hope you found that you enjoyed this video. Again, please like and subscribe. And if you're interested in getting a solar product from Lensun, please use the referral code below for an additional discount. Thank you.